I have observed, and I somewhat understand some of the feedback from some of the Linkin Park fans that are like, we don't understand why this is a big deal. The Scientology connection. And look, if you don't have all the information, I can understand why you don't think it is a big deal. But take it from people who are on the inside. This is one of the biggest victories Scientology has had in a very long time. Having one of their own, whether she's going in every week or month to get auditing her courses, is irrelevant. Having one of their own, a Scientologist in good standing, a Scientologist who was born and raised within the Sea Organization. I mean, she was at the ranch. So I consider those little Sea Org members, whether they were officially Sea Org members or not, to have a huge celebrity. I mean, I saw a huge music channel. Nick Nocturnal's a music channel with 1.2 million subscribers. He described Linkin Park as the biggest band in the world. I don't know if that's technically accurate or how you would measure that, but they're certainly one of them. This is one of the biggest victories Scientology has had in a long time. And I really get that a lot of Linkin Park fans don't truly understand why that is. And that's why I think it's important to keep talking about this. If Emily Armstrong was not still a supporter of Scientology, she would just come out and say it. And if people go, well, maybe she doesn't want all that smoke from Scientology, please, please. But even if she didn't want the Scientology smoke, she could at least actually condemn Danny Masterson instead of giving a mealy-mouthed half non-apology that doesn't even say Danny Masterson and doesn't even acknowledge his victims.
So, and it's the
Do you-
fact that she didn't forward enemy lines on that apology, you guys. It's why we know she's still on president lines, right? Why is Emily gonna let go of, yes, she was abused as a child for the context, right? And we don't wish that on any child. But on the flip side of that today, I mean, she's all very successful, right? Like she's a success story of Scientology. Oh, look, she grew up at the cadet org and now she's a rock star over here. That means everything in Scientology. Like we said, you can go to OT8 and you can be more worthless or ridiculous. Like Emily is worth 10 OT8s for them. Not because she's going to go out and tell you to convert. They use her as an influence on the internal to keep people, oh, look, it really does work. I might want to get there because they're using fame as a lure for all these people, right? That's why Tom Cruise, that's why this. And now they want more younger ones because, you know, like the new kids don't give an F about Tom Cruise. He's just an old guy at this point. John Travolta doesn't mean anything. So now that we need Sabrina Carpenter looking girl likes, you know, Nancy, can you bring Sabrina over here? Like,
Yeah. I was just going to say she's basically the new Tom Cruise, but for young women, or God forbid, for young gay women who could be tricked by Emily Armstrong into thinking Scientology's gay friendly. Maybe they're not, maybe everything I've heard isn't true. They're using Emily in this PR way that is so destructive. And again, the fans are like, but she hasn't been out there saying this. She's not promoting that. She's not doing this. It doesn't matter.
you never wanted to promote it. It's so embarrassing for you to go and promote something as stupid as Scientology. I mean, anytime I was ever asked, the last thing I wanted to talk or tell anyone is like, oh yeah, I was in Scientology. It's like, you're embarrassed. It's disgusting. It's shameful. It's ridiculous. Like the hotel couldn't have been more stupid. It's like, you don't want to tell people. You don't want people to think you're weird. You want to be normal. You have felt weird your whole life doing this bullshit audits and all this bullshit stuff that is not normal, right? And as a child, you were forced to it. So then you just try to distance yourself. And I did a whole video about this with her being asked about her past. And she's got all these pitches like down, like, oh yeah, I went to a boarding school. Oh yeah, I met Susie in high school. No mention ever that Scientology had anything to do with anything, right? And it's like, because they don't want to talk about it. They're disgusted about it. Nobody wants to pitch that to people that don't know what it is, because it's so hard, Aaron, to convince someone that Scientology is something, because the grooming that needs to happen is so extensive and prolonged. You can't just get it right away. So you really have to be dropping nuggets, like what we're saying about Mike. It's like, how many nuggets has she been dropping around him? How many favors has she been pulling to really just all of a sudden become this figure that is in there, that Scientology could have taken as a PR win, but it's the biggest PR hit they've ever had, because it's something that we're all looking at the hypocrisy of it, right? And they're just trying to be like, how do we look very influential? But they're not. They're so entitled, and again, it's like we're calling on Emily's entitlement, right? Because LGBTQ people in Scientology get abused and told they're degraded unless you become a rock star.
So Emily's band Dead Sarah was founded with 3 Scientologists: Emily Armstrong, Susie Medley, and Aaron Belcastro. And the fact that the band Dead Sarah was founded by 2 former Scientology child slaves and a rich Scientologist. And I know Aaron Belcastro had left the band, but Susie was still a part of the band. Chris Wadhams, another former Sea Org member, another former child Sea Org member. Like, the entire band of Dead Sarah is composed of Scientologists, either public or former child Scientology slaves. To see people constantly being like, but she hasn't said anything publicly about Scientology. Most Scientologists don't. That's not what matters.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not,